And now we get on to a whole series of questions on facts or feelings. All right. So what is more important, feelings and emotions or facts and logic?
Oh, facts and logic. You know, facts and logic is feelings are emotive and emotions are feelings. And the classic socialist feeling is it shouldn't flood on the lowlands. Well, of course it's going to flood on the lowlands. And the other classic socialist feeling is a living wage for all. Feelings are connected to instinct to an extent. But an instinct has to be trusted if it's ever going to grow. The trusting of instinct is nowhere near as important as the trusting of truth. And truth comes from history, reason, and logic. And the acceptance that truth is the correct view. If truth is the real actuality that black is black and 2 + 2 is 2. When one is bred and indented and impressed as a young child that truth is variable depending upon your feelings, that individual is destroyed, the diversity is created, and collectivism and slavery are on the way.
So are you responsible for the feelings of others?
If it's to their advantage, a salesman has to be responsive to the feelings of others. The salesman's purpose is to provide the prospective purchaser with the opportunity to buy.
Did you say responsive or responsible?
Responsibility.
Responsibility, yeah.
A salesman's responsibility, in order to make the sale, is to provide the prospective purchaser with the opportunity to buy. So the salesman has to be receptive to the feelings of the other person, of their prospect. If a salesman has to have the psychic, which is the feelings, the psychic capacity to solve objections before they arise. And to do that, the salesman has to be very well aware of the feelings of the person they're dealing with. They have to become also aware of the motive and the capacity and the vision of the prospective purchaser.
And who is responsible for your feelings?
Self is responsible. Self is responsible. If people, it's pretty hard to insult me unless I'm called a Labor voter. It's pretty hard to insult me, and my feelings are my own base. A person must be responsible for their own feelings. The mind has the power to insert or dismiss any thought. So if a person has feelings that someone is making them non-inclusive, or someone is giving them non-diversity, or someone is making them feel left out, the answer is resolved to solving that problem by some very simple techniques. The first technique is to recognise that there's a problem and to determine what that problem is, and having determined what the problem is, to determine a solution. And then you concentrate on the solution, you ignore the problem. Salesmen concentrate on the solutions. When a solution is concentrated on, the problem dissipates. So if someone's got bad feelings or someone's nervous, I've had clients that can't walk up a set of stairs. Because they're too frightened. I've had clients that can't leave their door, that have a permanent run of excuses as to why they're unable to meet someone. And I cure those problems for those people, because my job is to sell my service, and I sell it in advance, So I have to make sure the person I'm selling my service to is able to see that the solution to their feelings problem, and their feelings problem is not loving and not being loved, I have to let them see that they can resolve those problems by concentrating on the solution.
Yeah. So is it more important for you to consider someone's feelings or for you to discuss the facts?
The facts are the whole crisis, the facts are the whole crux and the crisis of any communication between any two people. Communication between two people, and how we first commenced to communicate, was because one of the two people wanting to communicate, or one of the two animals wanting to communicate, wanted the other to do their bidding. Communication is principally about getting the person you're communicating with to do your bidding. So of course you've got to be sensitive to the feelings, but feelings are replaceable. Facts are not. Feelings are replaceable. Truth is irreplaceable. Feelings can change. Truth can't. When I say truth can't change, that's not completely true, because a person who's decided to stop smoking can say, I've stopped smoking, when they haven't really, and that becomes the truth. So truth can sometimes have a delayed reaction to itself. Like a person overweight can say, I'm losing weight, before they've started to lose weight. Truth can be, a statement can become truth when it wasn't immediately truth. That's part of the human psyche of goal setting.
So is it more important for others to feel good or for you to empower them to take responsibility for their own life?
In order to create oneself, one must create another. One of the classic truths is, it's the teacher who learns. And one of the reasons that the whole of the education system is so bad, it's being taught by people who are taught badness. The teacher is learning badness by teaching it. And in order to create oneself, one must create another. It's so vital for the person you're dealing with to realise that their feelings are changeable, and it's the facts that matter. And that only and nothing matters if there's no goal. If the goal of somebody is to become collectivised and negate all their responsibility for their own feelings and their own income and their own livelihood and their own housing and their own everything, that negation because of their feelings is horrifically wrong for the person.
And personally for yourself, is it more important for you to feel good or for you to consider the facts?
Well, you have to consider the facts, because you can't feel good in a trauma of playing a computer game. You've got to feel good in the joy of living a life.
I've had conversations with people where they actually said they did not want to consider the facts because they wanted to live in a bubble of happiness. I've got it in writing. It's bizarre.
Well, no, yeah, it is bizarre, but I have a very strong view, so strong that I consider it to be the truth, that in order to understand the reason for something, one should look at the result. So if one, for instance, wants to look at the reason for World War II, the reason is to give Stalin the Baltic states, Eastern Europe, Northern Asia, Poland, Romania, Hungary, Czechoslovakia. The reason for World War II was to enslave 260 million people under Stalin. So, if one must look at the result of the education system, one can clearly see that person wanting to live in a bubble.
This question is not really relevant, but is it more important for others to be nice to you or for you to toughen up?
What's important is that any person that I intend to have any social intercourse with in the future, I don't form a view or opinion of that person other than a fluid view and opinion of that person. I don't really form opinions. What I do is I have a fluid view. If I intend to have any social intercourse with any person again in the future, I go into automatic mental computer drive to want my view of that person to improve. So any person I'm dealing with, I want my view of that person to improve. How that person feels about me is of little consequence, other than if that person has a better view of me, I'm more able to influence them for me to improve my opinion of them or my view of them. I don't like the word opinion. I think opinion is an excuse to deny fact.
Please take a moment to like and subscribe, remembering to click on the bell. Then check the comments box below to join our team of patrons and crew. And you can always find me on Facebook at the Peace Mapping Group. The link is in the comments box. And once again, thanks and all the best to you.